we're gonna get our full-blown acceleration here at the HRV. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're gonna be going over a 2022 Honda HRV in the LX package. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to Stockton 12 Honda here in Utah for giving me some time with this HRV. Check out the inventory link below. Let's get into the video. So under the hood we have a naturally aspirated 1.8 liter 4-cylinder that goes through a CVT automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 27 around town and then 31 on the highway, with power outputs being 141 horsepower and then 127 pound-feet of torque. Let's go over the front end of the HRV, and we're actually going to start at the lights before they shut off because, well, they're timed on Hondas. Anyways, you guys can see we've got the projector halogen bulbs with the LED accent light. I think it looks nice, and boom, like I said, time's out. I really like the chrome accenting, how that all connects to the Honda logo there in the center. And then I love these body lines here on the hood. Definitely makes things look a whole lot sharper. And then you guys can see the accenting down here on the bottom. It's all closed off, but again, it kind of matches everything else that they're doing here on the front end. And look at that. That's for aerodynamic purposes, which is pretty cool. But other than that, that's the front end of the HRV. Coming around the side here, we've got two 15mm tires wrapped around 17-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And then as for the design on the wheel, I think it actually looks really cool, especially for being kind of like an entry-level car for the brand. Like, I don't know, I think that's cool wheel design overall. Honda always kills it. We got the plastic molding that goes all along the bottom right here, and then look at these body lines right there. Definitely interesting from an aesthetic perspective. And then notice here with the mirror two-tone, you got the white on the top and then the black plastic on the bottom. And then you just have like the plastic molding around the windows. And there's your full side view. So here's our key fob for the HRV. Pretty basic, has lock, unlock, and then this for the hatch, but it actually just unlocks the hatch. You still have to do it yourself. It's right here by the camera, so you just press that button and then lift it up. It's hydraulic, and yeah. Now popping here to the interior, notice we've got all of our floor mats here in the back, and then underneath this we've got the spare tire, and yeah, that's all for that. Storage space, pretty good for being a smaller sized, what technically it's like a CUV, whatever you guys want to call it, but yeah, other than that, so you. Now I'm finishing things here with the design in the rear. Notice that the spoiler at the top, body painted, got the chrome accenting there in the center, the regular badges. Taillights, pretty interesting, kind of like old school looking. I like that part though in the center, kind of looks like bedazzled almost. Got the exhaust tip just hanging out there at the bottom, and that's all for the back. Now here's the door panel in the rear, and this is where things get interesting. We've got tons of cloth, and then you've got like the leather padding down below with the window control, but yeah, just the cloth is interesting. Got these cloth seats, still have the plastic covering on it from the factory, and pop in. Legroom's good. I also fit in here, so headroom's great as well. It's really comfortable back here, actually. Notice we have the little charging area right there, and then also a cup holder in front of it. But yeah, it's actually, I mean, it's spacious back here. Like, it's a small little SUV, CUV, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, let's head to the front. Now here's the door panel at the front. Again, you've got that cloth trim with the leather padding down below, all the window controls with the door lock and unlock, and then your mirror adjustments, all that normal stuff. And then here are the seats at the front. Again, you've got the cloth seats, a really nice bolstering on them. They are manually adjustable. Notice we've got the pedals down below. We've got the econ mode, the stability control, and that's for the tires, funny enough. And then down here, this is where you have the gas cap release and the hood release, and those are going to look before we pop in. So here is our steering wheel, pretty basic from a material standpoint. We've got cruise control, we've got voice command controls, volume controls, all the stuff you need. Turn signal light stock, windshield wiper stock, and yeah, I mean, that's all for the steering wheel. So here's a gauge cluster. First off, we will press the econ, and notice that it comes up with like the little plant right there letting you know that you're in the good fuel economy mode. Other than that, analog gauges, pretty simple setup, nothing too crazy. I mean, it has all the information that you'd want it to have, and none of the information they don't really care about. So yeah, I mean, other than that, that's all for the gauge cluster. Now here's the infotainment system. First off, if we pop it into reverse, notice we got a backup camera with trajectory lines. Now they do not turn with the steering wheel, it's just stationary for that. As for the rest of the infotainment system, I mean, it's just basically, well, gotta make sure the volume's down, radio, all that stuff. You've got like the shortcut buttons on either side. Now it is not actually a touchscreen, so you've got to like do the dial to go. So I guess that is one downside, is it's not a touchscreen, it's all like analog controls. But I mean, if you like that, then that's a huge plus. But yeah, that's the radio infotainment system. We've got a single zone climate right here, which you don't really need a dual zone. This is such a small vehicle, so single zone is more than enough. It does have recirculates down there, if you were wondering. We've got the shifter for that CVT, we've got the sport mode, and then we've got the low range, like if you're going down a canyon, for example, your parking brake, and then your brake hold. And then notice that we've got nice soft touch here on like the dash, so it actually looks pretty good. Now I've got these over-engineered cup holders, so you press this and that, and also now the keys are trapped down there for the Pilot. But yeah, if you want it to go away, then you just have to press those down again, and they go down like that. And then you can press those in, but I think you have to also press the button. Yeah, so you have to press the button and press it in. It's kind of complicated, but like if you don't think about it, it makes sense. Got the center console right there, which more storage space. So we kind of have like two center consoles, because like these are like cup holder center console. And also nice trim like all along the side here, which is, you know, solid. Got the glove box right here, and then up top we've got a lighter colored headliner, sun visors, lights, all that fun stuff. Nothing too crazy happening, so yeah. Now the lighting is just right, so you guys can actually see the window sticker. So again, 2022 HRV. Feel free to freeze the frame if you're gonna read all the options. Well, standard equipment rather. There's your base MSRP. There's not a lot added to this. Got like the white color and then destination charge. So total MSRP, $24,540. Let's take it out and see how it drives. Talk about visibility before we set off. There's your visibility over the hood, pretty good. Through the mirrors, and the rest of the rear. And let's set off. We are setting off here in the HRV, and this is a pretty interesting segment. This is kind of like, hey, I want to have SUV space, but I don't want to have SUV fuel economy, and I don't want to have SUV size from a driving perspective. And yeah, that's kind of what this segment is, right? But anyways, let's talk about how this drives. So first off, ride quality, it's average for the segment. Feels like a smaller size, like SUV car type thing. Kind of feels like a car, because you're not like super high up off the ground or anything like that. Handling's great though with this segment of SUV, which is something that I definitely like, because it kind of has that small zippy feel to it. Steering's actually pretty direct as well, which is another plus. And kind of see how it does, just partial throttle here. Yeah, pretty good. The CVT is not annoying or anything like that, which is definitely a plus. Some CVTs are pretty dang annoying. Popping it over into the S mode, but leaving it in automatic. Oh, we're gonna get our full-blown acceleration here at the HRV. Yeah, so when you're on full throttle, you can definitely feel that it's a CVT more so, because it has that CVT like RPM hold. If you've driven a CVT, then you guys know what I'm talking about. But I mean, for the segment, it's good from an acceleration standpoint, so no complaints there. And one thing I will mention though is also when you're like full throttle, and every single CVT SUV does this, you definitely do get that the best way for me to put it is just like quite a bit of noise from the engine, because it's just like tons of grunt, because it's holding the RPMs and just kind of like sitting there and riding on a wave of torque in a sense. So yeah, understand that. But let's sum things up here with the HRV, and I keep wanting to say CRV. Obviously that's another Honda, but it's not this Honda, obviously. So exterior wise, it's kind of quirky looking. It's got the weird door handles in the back. I wouldn't call it beautiful necessarily, but it looks like a little Honda hatchback SUV thingy, basically. That's the best way to describe it. Interior wise, again, for the segment, for the price, it's pretty nice. Obviously, you do have quite a bit of, you know, cheaper materials, but again, the price point this is at completely makes sense. And then from a driving perspective, it's got decent acceleration. Again, considering the segment, it's right where it needs to be. And ride quality is right where, everything's right where it needs to be. Like there's I don't really have anything bad to say about this. And then also the handling, that's one thing I will say is definitely really good, is it definitely has that lightweight, fun handling feel because, well, it's a smaller size SUV. So overall, it doesn't necessarily differentiate itself in any crazy way in the segment. It just does everything really well. And so if you're just looking for a nice, practical, reliable, small SUV hatchback thingy, then check out the Honda HR-V. Now let's get some things up for our video on this 2022 Honda HR-V. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to Stockton 12 Honda here in Utah for giving me some time with the HR-V. Check out the inventory link below. I'll see all of you in the next video.